Salut et bienvenue, mesdames et messieurs, pour cet épisode de Vital Redpill. The topic of this episode is the growing gilet jaune Yellow Vest movement in France. The goal of this episode is to give you some inside views provided by French anons. Enjoy! So this is one of the flyers that the Yellow Vests were giving out and I could find on 4chan. La taxe du carburant n'est pas le seul problème. The fuel tax is not the only problem. Votre plein à 70 €, 28 € de carburant, 42 € pour l'État. Meaning that from every 70 € that you pay at a gas station, only 28 are used to actually buy the product, and 42 are just taxes for the government. The second one shows the amount of taxes that are paid for your income. The third one shows the amount of taxes that you pay if you buy medicine. The fourth one showing that every second the government is stealing money from you by creating extra money out of thin air. So it's about inflation and fiat money. The fifth one is about inheritance tax. En définitive, un salaire moyen se fait voler environ 70 de ses revenus. Elle est pas belle, la vie? In total, if, regarding a normal income, you have to pay 70% taxes to the government, isn't life beautiful? And that's not even taking the new fuel tax into regard. Now that we have talked about these few facts, let's jump in directly into the text. Disregard the posters talking shit about the movement. They are part of Macron's party and have been tasked to undermine the Yellow Vest movement on social media. I guess a few of those motherfuckers could speak a bit of English, so they were told to go on foreign websites. Yellow Vests are anyone who have enough of being taxed to oblivion by the state. Not just on gas, but everything. It's the first time protests have been staged through social media in France, without leaders, unions, politician parties and other professional protesters behind it. The state is extremely scared of such popular uprisings, so they try to do everything to prevent them. Threats to let the police go wild on protesters, undermining the movement in the media and social media, etc. Unfortunately for them, November 17th was a huge success, and protests are still going on. They also do divide and conquer tactics by trying to put up people who don't protest against those who do, by saying things like, those protesters are illegal. It's funny how in France, the country of protests and riots, you have to get your protest approved by the police first, otherwise it's illegal and you don't have the right to protest. Of course, if your protest is anti-state, the police will just outright refuse your protest, and they're gonna be illegal anyway. And then you have those motherfuckers in power who dare to claim protesting is a right in France, and you just have to get them approved. My ass, if you need the state's approval, then it's not a right. The state also kept talking about freedom of movement being an unalienable right. That's all fine and dandy, but when it's leftards, unions, teachers, taxi drivers, public servants, train, air companies, protesting and rioting, completely paralyzing the country for weeks, no one says anything about them but more freedom of movement, or how the protesters don't hurt the ones they are targeting but the people instead. No, the people just accept it as normal, shut the fuck up and stay at home. But this time, because it's an anti-state protest and the state has said all of that shit, suddenly many people thought they had the absolute right to movement, even if it means running over people with their cars. So at various checkpoints, amongst people who were blocked, shitskin pulled knives, guns, people forced their way with their cars, pushing over Yellow Vests. A 63-year-old woman, part of the Yellow Vest movement, was even killed by a woman who ran her over with an SUV. The state basically created this climate of violence against the protesters by putting the idea into the people's head that those protesters are illegal and that they don't have the right to block the people, and so you should be able to kill them all. That's how far the state is scared. And as far as the why don't you target institutions directly rather than random people argument, well, why don't all those professional left-wing protesters do the same thing, huh? Why do they always block everything, destroy shops, the streets, attack random people, but never target the state? Because they're all fucking part of the system, that's why. So, Yellow Vest did the same kind of protesting, preventing people from moving freely, blocking access to shopping districts and gas pumps, invading toll booths and letting them open so that people can pass without paying. The goal of the protesters was to prevent people from buying stuff so that the state couldn't get that sweet 20% value-added tax. The goal was to reduce the amount of money the state was getting, and it was a huge success in that regard. And yeah, Yellow Vests actually did protest in front of institutions and even protested right in front of Macron's house. However, as you would expect, Macron, who said not long ago, "Let them come and get me," talking about the people who didn't like him, suddenly had his balls shrinking and deployed a huge police force to keep the protesters at bay. So yeah, since in France, NPC will repeat ad nauseum, Orange Man equals bad, obviously they are going to compare their political enemies, the Yellow Vest, to evil Nazi Trump voters who don't like ecology, since the taxes are going to supposedly in favor of ecology. Yet all the money is pumped into the general budget and nothing is actually done in favor of ecology. Has the state tried to develop bioethanol or vegetable oil for cars? No, they fucking didn't. If they gave a fuck about ecology, they would have forced cars makers to make engines that are 100% compatible with those energies. Ecology is yet another scam to raise more taxes, so that Macron can buy 500,000 euro worth of dinner plates and import more black balls for his mommy. Another French anon had the following to say: "It's not only about gas prices, it's a general exorbitant tax theft to feed Africans and Arabs. It's the broken public health system, that you have to wait 10 hours in the emergency room, that you have to take another health insurance while Africans and Arabs are being treated for free. Last year I gave up to go to the physiotherapist after a broken leg because it was too expensive. It is the insecurity, Africans and Arabs running everything, killing, raping, stealing and not going to prison. While if you're white and defend yourself, you're going to prison and pay them reparation. It is the fucking retirement pension system that is fucking broken. People work their ass all their life and they get pennies. While there's the minimum old age that give a retirement pension for Africans and Arabs, even if they don't have the nationality and even if they never worked in France. They just get it, and all the fucking Africa send their old shits to get this. It's the fucking welfare system. You live better if you don't work and have kids while being in welfare, than if you are a medium wage worker that works an entire month. You can't even afford to have kids. It's the fucking city mayor that wastes money to stupid frivolities and then call for a donation to finance bullshit social projects. It's funny. When it's the liberals, Antifa city folks who rebel and protest, there's no problem dispatching riot police. But when it's the law-abiding country citizen, militia formed, sabotage costs the state millions and nobody can do anything because it's totally disorganized. If you want an even further look into the future, have this. It is happening in an overseas territory, too remote to be connected to mainland police riot force. Curfew are in effect, pillaging has already started. Since it's not Arabs and Africans who are rioting, the police is cool with the protesters, even if they're doing far more damage to the state by blocking refineries and destroying highway tolls than chimping out in a shopping mall.
So are the protests actually rather intense, or is RT making it look like a bigger deal than it actually is?
No, it is intense. Some state-run oil groups are losing millions, and factories are starting to shut down because we can't import parts. Drivers' unions are joining the protests, which started, I have to remind you all, as a white rural consumer protest against taxation theft. Sorry, I am really bad at English. I repost what another anon already explained better than me. I'm just really bored and hungry for happening, trying to feed you with the most recent events. But nothing has changed since Saturday. Protests are still going and government is still opposed to reform. What the fuck do they want? Dignity. Not getting their money stolen to feed migrants and build in cities. Getting some things in return like public transportation or infrastructure. It is basically a rural world against globalized cities. Blocage de l'hôtel de l'impôt à las par. Base rural retards blocking a big tax office with a pile of shit. A Brazilian anon had the following to add to the conversation. By the way, one of the most hilarious things about these kinds of protests is watching the Marxist intelligentsia squirm because they don't control it. These guys spent the last 50 years dreaming of revolution, propping up one class after another as the new revolutionary class. After the proletariat, it would be the students, then the racial and the sexual minorities, and then the so-called precariat, the urban poor, whoever they thought they could manipulate to start a revolution that would never come, no matter how much ink they spent in books writing about it. Then, when mass protests come with real revolutionary potential, it comes from the people who they have no connection to. People they can't really manipulate because their entire culture is alien to them. The Brazilian Marxist intelligentsia was caught entirely dumbfolded by the truckers' strike, and many were forced to side with the government because of the obvious pro-military and anti-leftist tint of the protesters. I guess the French intelligentsia is facing the same conundrum, and are mostly supporting the neoliberal Macron against protesting workers. Another French anon added to this, it's exactly how the government speaks about the movement. It's like the freedom of protesting has disappeared and every gilet jaune is a terrorist and anarchist. They keep acting arrogant and lost, like their whole world has been shattered. Les gilets jaunes affaiblissement les pays face au terrorisme, arguait Christophe Castaner. The Yellow Vests are weakening the country against terrorism, says Christophe Castaner, the Minister of the Interior of France.